coast of Australia to the darkest corner of your greatest fears. Prepare yourself for terrifying tales of Yowies, UFOs, paranormal anomalies, and much more. Nothing is impossible, and nothing is off limits. Welcome to Believe the Night Shift with your host, Cade Moyer.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good night. It is a pleasure to be with you wherever you may be joining us from. We are broadcasting live to YouTube, so if you are watching live, comment and let me know where you are listening from. My name's Cade Moyer, and I'm going to be your tour guide on tonight's journey. And if you wish to join me, I have an open line ready for you. The number is 0730403096. I forget that number every time. You know, I've read that number out 100 times now, and you think I will get it right. The number is 0730403096. You can call in and share your strange and unexplainable stories. So, guys, it has been a little while since we've done a live show. I just had a look at the numbers here, and I see it was about a month ago that we did our last live show. So, guys, it's great to be back with you. It's great to be here back on the air because we, as you know, season 19 has come to an end, and that ended a couple of weeks ago. So, we are currently in the process of recording season 20 of the podcast, and we are looking to do some rather fun and unique elements to the podcast when it comes to season 20. So a lot of feedback that we've gotten is that some members who, or not just members actually, people who have encounters are sometimes a little bit nervous to come on the air and share their actual encounter, say in person or something like that. So we are going to start offering the opportunity for people to write in, and we will read those encounters out on their behalf. Now, sometimes it will be me, maybe sometimes I'll bring in an alternative voice or something like that to, you know, just kind of mix things up a little bit. But that's going to be something that we're going to be looking at. So I would love to hear your thoughts on that kind of option for our guests or potential experiences on the podcast, because I think it adds a little bit of depth to the guests as well, you know, because not everyone is super confident when it comes to retelling their story. So, you know, it does give us an option to potentially reach even more people who've had encounters. So I would love to know what your thoughts are on that. I think it's a really cool opportunity to, you know, include people who may not think their story is really, I don't know, share worthy, because you'll be surprised at how many people will write in and want to tell me a story, but not want to come on the show. So I feel like this is the opportunity to let those people, you know, kind of air their experiences without going right in the deep end and becoming an official guest of the podcast. So, guys, we are in 2024, and I can tell you that 2023 was a completely crazy year for UFOs, for the podcast. It was, and actually for Cairns as a whole. So for those who are listening, I'm actually located in Cairns in far north Queensland. And if you live in Australia, you've probably seen this region on the news a fair bit towards the end of 2023, because we had a cyclone just pass above us, which was lucky. However, as every local in Cairns will tell you, is that when a cyclone goes north of you, you usually get slammed with the rain. And that's exactly what happened in Cairns. We got smashed with, I think it was in the end about 1,200 mils of water, which is a lot of water. And we essentially had multiple suburbs completely go underwater. It was unbelievable. I've lived in Cairns for 36 years now, and I've never seen flooding to that scale. It was truly heartbreaking seeing so many families lose absolutely everything days before Christmas, and yeah, it was just terrible to see this happen, because in this day and age, it's I don't know, naive to think that these things don't happen, and this happened within hours. It was genuinely mind blowing. But yeah, a bit of an average way to kind of finish the end of the year. But luckily, I was lucky enough to be on the opposite side of town to where all this flooding was happening. So my family was untouched completely by the flooding, by the cyclone, and also the podcast studio was completely untouched as well. So, I do thank my lucky stars in that regard there, because I know not everyone was as lucky as I was. So just going to the chat here, and I see some people think they're having trouble hearing the podcast. So let me know if it's coming through. On my side of things shows that everything is running the way it should be. However, if you are having trouble with the audio coming through on your device, I would probably just look at maybe just restarting the live stream or something like that, because who knows what it's doing on your end. But it looks like we are coming through loud and clear from what people are saying. So it is great to have you here. So we've got a couple of listeners tuning in. So tonight I want to do something a little bit special, or a little bit fun, depending on how you look at it. So I would love to hear what people's New Year's resolutions or predictions are going to be for 2024 when it comes to UFOs, because I think this year is going to be a rather interesting year when it comes to that kind of segment of the unknown. I know I have honestly beat this dead horse to as much as I could, if I'm being honest about the US and their congressional hearings and things like that. But unfortunately, the bill did not get passed. There was a lot of very open-ended language in it that I thought would really cause it to not get over the line. But it is unfortunately being scrapped for now. And that really does raise a rather interesting predicament when it comes to disclosure, because I'm a massive believer, and you can go back and listen to previous live shows about this. I'm a massive believer that if the US government didn't do disclosure, we're going to get the public doing disclosure. And that is essentially one of the things that is on the cards right now. I don't know how many of you are in the X or the Twitter world, but one of the words that is, or one of the statements that gets thrown around is catastrophic disclosure. What does that mean? That means disclosure without the US government's input. They will not have any control over what comes out. And who knows what that looks like? That could be military personnel, civilians, things like that, contractors coming forward to talk about whatever it is that they've been working on. Like a really good example of this is someone like Bob Lazar, who was stationed at S4 within Area 51, and he came out in the 1980s to talk about the reverse engineering program that he worked on. it really wouldn't be too much of a leap to think that stuff like this is going to start coming out now, because who knows? It is a crazy time we're living in, and actually, someone on the live stream here said another country. Absolutely, absolutely. That is a really good point, because who knows what other people are doing with their UFO programs? We are, and especially me, we are so focused on what is happening over in the US that we are not looking at other countries who have potentially got these craft. Who knows what Korea has? Who knows what China has? Who knows what Russia has? It could be a rather interesting year ahead. let's just put it that way. And I think a lot of the whistleblowers who are going to come forward are probably rather dirty about this. So who knows? Who knows? It's I think 2024 is going to be a really, really interesting year coming to that. But I would be really interested to hear other people's thoughts on that. So, if you do want to call in, the number is there on the screen. It's 0730403096. Or you could just actually type it into the chat if you're watching this live and would rather participate that way, and I can kind of read out your thoughts on it. But yeah, that was a really good point brought up by H Girl, saying that another country could do this. And I believe that could be a massive potential of happening there. Someone has said something here, and I will put this on the screen. So Shred Up says, love the written word encounter idea. On that note, how about Believe Encounter book? Yeah, a book is always on the cards. I have been offered, I don't know if you would call it a book deal, but I have been offered a opportunity to say, hey, if you wrote a book, we would release it for you and we would publish it and get it out there. So always an option. Time is the tricky part, my friend, because I would all be for a book. Anything that will challenge me mentally is always a great thing. And writing is one of those things that I'm genuinely terrible at. So it would be a challenge, but I would be definitely up for it. Just means I wouldn't be able to do as much podcasting, and I don't know how much people would like that. So just some additional news on my side of things when it comes to the podcast. Attila and I went to Hill End and we shot our doco, and holy moly, boy, did we encounter some stuff. That's all I'll say about that. But yeah, let's just say the only thing that we didn't encounter that night was on that trip was a Yowie, I think. So we'll see. We're actually just in the process of starting to edit that. So if you are interested in documentaries about the unknown, the Believe and the Moonlight Media, which is Attila's production company, joint documentary will be coming out later this year. We are actually looking for names for the doco. So if you guys could come up with a really cool name for anything related to Hill End, you very may well be the contributor to naming the documentary. Michelle Fell has asked, how come you don't have a video tonight, Cade? To be honest, I couldn't be bothered. I'm actually broadcasting from the home studio tonight, and I'm not in the fancy studio, so it's just a little bit more work to kind of get that video set up done here. And the to be honest, I don't think a lot of people care if the video is going or not. I know that we don't get a lot of viewers on the replays for the Believe Plus, so who knows how much video would kind of go on in 2024. Hopefully we do a lot more. I love doing video, but you know, if you guys prefer just the audio, heck, that's a whole lot easier. Someone here has made quite a funny little comment here. Cade got a bad haircut. Joke's on you, mate, because I'm losing my hair. So, that's not really an issue for me anymore. Okay, this is interesting. So Jackie Ann has said, I just saw a vid from Night God on YouTube regarding the witness account of the Miami incident. Do you know what that is? It sounds like aliens at a mall, cops, guns, black choppers, terrified civilians. Yeah. This was the best blow up of an incident I've ever seen in my life, in regards to how powerful social media can be, because what this was, it was actually a hostage case. So a gentleman actually rented out his yacht or his boat to a rapper. I don't know who the rapper is. I don't know if it's any high profile rappers at all. And essentially the person who loaned the boat out said, okay, you need to pay me the rest of the payment. And essentially this guy took the boat owner hostage and wanted a complete refund. Even though he had completed the trip for whatever this was. But there was a lady who was on TikTok and Instagram coming out saying that there was 7 to 8 foot tall beings walking around a mall, and that people were, in her words, pew-pewing, aka shooting at these tall creatures, which is, I think, a complete fabricated lie, because how could not one single person in a packed mall not get their phones out to record aliens or beings or whatever? So yeah, but you know, it does really go to show how powerful social media can be and how quickly something like that can spread. Virality is a crazy thing. And I tell you what, that lady did a very, very good job of selling that story. I think it was like an 8-minute video. I actually watched it earlier today myself, and I watched the full 8 minutes, even though she barely said anything in the actual video that made sense. But yeah, go check it out. Completely fabricated, but unfortunately, yeah, it was a hostage situation. So that's why it was so full on. So just going here to the chat, Lisa Kemp says, absolutely prefer video. Okay, cool. I think that might be the only person that has said that. So I'll mark that in the one for pros. CRF 1000 Al says Attila does great work. He does, and an absolutely gent of a person. He's a national treasure, I can tell you that. Rod Rupus has asked a release date for the doco. No idea at this stage. Yeah, we're very much early in the editing phase. To be honest, there's probably still more things that we're going to shoot just to kind of fill in a couple of areas. However, it's going to have to go through a massive process with distributors and things like that. So release date will kind of do in line with whatever their plans are, but I will see if I can do something for Believe Plus members. I absolutely do not see that being an issue where I can do a private screening for Believe Plus members as a one-off or something like that. And kind of go from there, because I think that'll be a really cool experience where everyone can kind of sit down at the same time, do a premiere thing, and everyone watches it that one time, and then it disappears, and people have to wait till it gets released on whatever streaming platform decides to purchase it. Maggie has asked, please do video. Occasionally happy with audio only, whatever works for you. All right. 2 for video. H Girl has said hostage situation with aliens. Imagine that. Jim Condon, mate, you are nuts with that spider on your hand. What's your opinion on the alien bodies produced at the Mexican UFO hearings? Yeah, I think it's a sham, straight up sham. I think it's just fully bogus and completely wasted everyone's time and resources. These things have been proven not to be anything but random body parts kind of put together. The skulls are, I think they're llama skulls that have been cut and flipped upside down. So, yeah, look, I want them to be real. I really do. But I tell you what, it doesn't do anything in the UFO field any justice when you kind of got these clowns out there who do these hoaxes. I believe the guy who presented them has even been called out hoaxing those exact mummified bodies before. I know I've seen them before. But yeah, they just made a complete sham of it. However, I tell you what, I'm no expert on this stuff, and there would be nothing better than me being proved wrong that those alien bodies were real, because I would love that. However, I don't believe that to be the case. I believe that they are a complete fabrication. The gentleman who presented them has got caught out essentially showing paper mache mummies before as well. So he hasn't got a lot of credibility going for them. Mickey Sticks has said, I've got a possible UFO strange lights encounter that happened to me years ago in Otways, if you're interested. Yeah, I'm always interested, Mickey. Absolutely, please get in touch with me. Write to believepod@gmail.com or go into believepod.com and shoot me an email through the be a guest tab at the top, because that's the best way to kind of get in touch with me. A lot of people try to send me DMs and things like that, and to be honest, I'm really rarely on social media these days. I'm really trying to detox away from that. So the website is definitely the best way to get in touch with me. Tim C has said, did you hear about the triangular UFO spotted over Cranbourne in Victoria a few weeks ago? No, I didn't. No, not at all, actually. I feel like it's really hard for this information to kind of get out if you're not on social media. And like I said, I'm rarely on there at the moment. I'm just really kind of stepping back from all of that. There almost needs to be a place where people can submit this stuff and just check it, like a simple website. It's almost like someone's building that by the name of me. Maggie has asked I said, were they the ones that kind of look like ET from the movie? I assume she's referring to the alien bodies, and yeah, that was it. So, and Mickey has said, cool, done, excellent, man. I'd love to hear about that. So, guys, what are your predictions for disclosure coming up in 2024? I would love to hear about them in the comments. So please let me know. Because I think this is the year where things might get a little bit crazy. Mish says, any talk on the sighting near the moon? No, I haven't heard anything. So the Mish will be referring to a video that I posted up on our social media on Facebook or Instagram, depending where you saw it. Yeah, I don't really know what to make of that. It's a really interesting kind of encounter, and the problem we have with it is perspective. Perspective can ruin a lot of really good UFO sightings, and that one was, I don't know, maybe it could have been one that kind of falls into that funny zone of like, how close is it? Is it just something in the sky close to us that appears like it's on the moon, or was this actually something rather large near the moon? Who knows? But I tell you what, I always find it fascinating whenever there's footage of like things passing the moon and you can kind of see the shadow fall on the moon. So I'm a big fan of things like that. Lots of Lottie. I have noticed the clouds over parts of Brisbane suddenly change shape. I'm a cloud spotter, and this has been quite odd recently. I've noticed a few strange patterns. I don't know, but I get drawn in. Interesting. I've seen clouds constantly change shape, almost like in a loop. And it was explained to be a like a magnetic force or something like that. So who knows? It could be one of those things that is just random in nature, but it could also be something like a little bit more telling, a little bit more interesting. But yeah, that's cool. Thanks for sharing. Lots of Lottie. Shane's prediction for 2024 is nothing new has been disclosed that hasn't before. I would probably disagree on that. But that's fine. Destroyed by Fords. I saw a shadow person cross the road back in December 1st, 8:20 p.m. near where I live. Well, mate, you need to get in contact with me. Send me an email. I would love to hear about it. It's obvious they don't want us to know that they're secrets. Well, of course, because could you imagine how much money private corporations have made from potentially reverse engineering UFO technology? There's a lot of speculation out there that no, it's not that. It's things like fiber optics, lasers, the microchip have all come from reverse engineering UFOs because there was a rather large, like, kind of technology jump in the 60s there. And yeah, it was, they do believe it came from reverse engineering craft. So who knows? Maybe we're selling the human race a little bit short on our I guess intelligence of our ability to create and imagine things and then turn them into real products and actually work. Who knows? Jim has come out and said, I'm not confident we'll get any more disclosure in 2024. You may be right there, Jim. I personally, I think we'll get like one big thing this year, but that's about it. I don't think we're going to get a, that's about it, to be honest. I think this year is going to be pretty quiet. I'd love to be wrong on it. Trust me. I would love to be wrong. But I don't know about anyone else, but like the wind has kind of been taken out of my sails with the bills being kind of shut down by the Senate, because there was so much hype around it. And now it's just kind of like everyone's kind of fallen a little bit flat about it. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's just me, but I feel like the overall vibe to government controlled disclosure is all very flat and almost non-existent at the moment. So yeah. Misha said, my prediction, there'll be a lot more UFO activity. I'm praying we ain't too busy surviving to notice. Oh, a little bit of doom and gloom speculation in there. Got to throw that in a little bit, right? But you could be right. I'd love for there to be so much more UFO activity. Time will tell. How about Ross Coulthard saying that there's a UFO out there that's so large that it can't be moved? So they've built a actual building around it. Have you heard about that? I would love to hear your thoughts on where you think that is, because imagine a UFO so big it can't be transported by anything. Yeah. Maggie M10, I can't make a prediction for this year. I know there is a lot of talk about the people getting disclosure out there without the government, but I don't fully understand it. Yeah, so this is essentially the catastrophic disclosure event where essentially people who have had either firsthand encounters with craft or being essentially being convinced, or not convinced, but the speculation that, you know, they are going to do a spill of the secrets. So essentially Jeremy Corbell will, I have no doubt, kind of be not a gatekeeper, but a person of interest, like a contact for that type of thing. So I really hope something like that happens. A lot of people kind of get the shits with people like Corbell, who are almost like these gatekeepers of truth and hold all the secrets, and like people like Ross Coulthard. But if they let everything out of the bag all at once, you'd completely lose the faith of the people who will come forward, and just burn everyone in the process. So yeah. All right. Michelle says, last year at my mum's Caboolture, I noticed the sky looked like there was a rectangle or joins in the shape of a rectangle. Interesting. Seems to be a fair bit of activity over the Brisbane area as of late. And Destroyed by Voids has said, I will contact you. Also had a woman's disembodied voice mumble into my ear. I completely understand that. Had that happened at Hill End, but that's enough of that. That's why they killed JFK, because he was going to tell all. Maybe was he our disclosure president? Who knows? Who knows? Destroyed is giving us a bit of a name drop here. not name drop, info dump, also had synchronicity happen. I was at a customer's house and noticed a book with the author's name being the same as my friend. I haven't heard of him from him in years. And later that night he called me. Yeah, that's always creepy when stuff like that happens. It's kind of like the universe is just nudging you in the right ways. Maggie says, no, I missed that. I assume you're kind of talking about the large UFO by Ross Coulthard. Yeah, you really need to go listen to his podcast, Need to Know, because he likes, actually, he doesn't kind of drop it on his podcast. Well, no, he does. I'm completely getting my lines mixed up. He does talk about that type of stuff on his own podcast, but he also drops those like kind of really hot tidbits on other people's shows when he guests on them. So yeah, so apparently there's a UFO out there that's so big, something had to be built around it. And a big hot tip that he told us, well, not us, like I know insider information, absolutely do not, that he shared with the world is he said that it's not in America and that you are essentially able to storm the place where it's kept. So if there was enough people who wanted to make a sacrifice of finding out where this UFO is, essentially, they can go there and storm whatever locations it's at to find it. Maggie says, Kate, I really didn't understand oh my goodness, catastrophic disclosure. So you do now. I predict we'll be making resolutions next year. Hopefully. What if there isn't a next year, David? Live in the moment, man. Keller said, back in the 80s, there was a UFO that landed northwest of Broken Hill that was so large, its footprint covered over 100 acres. The locals say NASA people were out there for months doing tests on the area. Really? I have not heard of that. That's rather cool. A guy from work told me the story. His dad was a ruse shooter on the station for years. Interesting. Disclosure doesn't really matter, in my opinion. Once you've seen any, you don't need the government to tell you what is. Look, I completely agree with you about you don't need the government to tell you what is. But there is a sense of importance that comes to a kind of like a sealed deal. Yeah, these are extraterrestrials. These are interdimensional creatures. These are non-human intelligences, and we have no idea what they are. Yeah, I think that is important. I think that does matter to the world. But I tell you what, we are all going to sit here and go, "Well, see, I told you so." But for us who are already in that rabbit hole, yeah, we don't need the disclosure. It's just a nice to have. And goes on to say that he really liked the Coulthard chat with Gary Nolan. Yeah, that was good. I tell you what, my hat goes off to Ross Coulthard because it maybe he doesn't like need all the credit for it, but it definitely seems like since he's found a large interest in the UFO field that the cogs have really started to turn more. And I don't know if that's a coincidence, but it's great either way. Either way, I like it. Mickey Six says, checked you out just now online. Didn't see an email where I can get in contact about my encounter. An easier way. Legit, just go to believepod.com and there is a link at the top that says become a guest or be a guest, something like that. And then there's a contact form there. You chuck your information into that bad boy and I will respond to you, mate. Because yeah, I'm actually looking to take bookings for season 20, 21, and 22 right now. So now is the time. They kept that quiet. I'm not too sure what they mean by what she's talking about there, but maybe that was the UFO thing that landed. Grub O'Neill says 4K, 60 frames per minute. I think maybe 60 frames per second. 4K, 60 frames per minute, 5-second videos, 2 p.m., and zoom in and go frame by frame, and the orbs are visible. I've got 5 videos now. Okay. Feel free to send them over to me, Grub. I'd love to check them out. Okay, here he goes. At Grub12321 on X is my vids. I'm in Sydney West and those orbs. Okay, cool. I will jump on there and I will check that out because X is the only place I am active for social media essentially at the moment. So, and I'm using that to, I feel like X is a really great place to kind of find out the information that you want to almost instantly at the moment. And I'm kind of going down just so many rabbit holes there at the moment. Cal says, I got some good vids of orbs 3 weeks back out bush, 3 lights in the sky going up and down and round in circles, 2:45 a.m. No sky traffic on flight 24, flight radar 24. Very cool, Cal. Very cool. Excellent. A lot of clips out of Brisbane, people trying to convince others with the line, are you seeing what I'm seeing? Utter rubbish with no info at all. You know, that is actually funny you say that, Rod, because I am seeing this kind of showing up in groups a lot at the moment where people are, I don't know if they're trying to purposely scam people or anything like that. But essentially they're posting videos looking through glass windows and it's obviously a reflection from the inside and they're trying to claim these types of things as UFOs. So if you're one of those types of people, that's such a grubby move to do. But yeah, I totally get what you're saying there, Rod. I've got the phone set to 4K now. That's way, Cal. Set it to 60 frames per second if you can, because then you can basically slow that down to pretty good slow motion. Grubber says, there you go. Last 10 frames, you can post it and stub it all you want. In fact, if you look carefully, there are 3 UFOs in that vid. Excellent. I am going to check it out. Shane is jumped on board and says, yeah, TikTok is full of that rubbish. TikTok is just rubbish. Full stop. I am so not a fan of that. Those types of platforms, they just melt your brain and completely ruin people's attention spans. It is totally disgusting. So yeah. Rochelle has said, I had 2 nights in a row, exactly 25 hours apart, with orbs outside my bedroom window. Attila and Yowie Dan investigated my place. Attila a second time with his wife, and they are perplexed by the orbs. Interesting. Very interesting. Because Attila's wife is like a medium, a psychic. She's got some stuff going on. So when you get like a power couple like them over at your place and they don't know what's going on, that raises a lot of questions. Grubber said, mate, these things are so fast, the sky's full of them and we can't see them. Yeah, look, I absolutely agree with you on that one, Grub. These things are completely almost invisible to the eye. When they're seeing you, like a lot of people film the sky and accidentally capture UFOs and they don't realize it till, potentially months later on when they look back at this footage of a plane or something like that they recorded and notice a silver shiny orb or, something like that flying past in a couple of frames. So yeah, it's a rather fascinating phenomenon, and especially when you start to introduce things like night vision or anything like that, and thermals, you can see things that legit the human eye can't see. And I've heard of many encounters where people have seen things on like infrared or night vision cameras or binoculars that they couldn't see in their normal spectrum of vision. So yeah, if you are getting that type of activity where you are there, Grub, I would highly consider investing in some additional camera equipment that sees into these additional kind of spectrums. So right, Cade, full of influence and people wanting followers. Yeah, TikTok's pretty trash. Oh my gosh, the chat is going nuts. Grubber said, yeah, 120 frames would be pretty crazy, but they're high up. A few twinkles too. They look like when orbs stop at twinkles. Yeah, absolutely, Maggie. Absolutely. It would be so cool if you could contact the Knowles family. Yeah, absolutely. I've actually tried and looked and looked and looked. I don't think they're in Australia anymore, unfortunately. So I would be extremely keen to chat to them. But it is very difficult to sometimes find people. And you'll be surprised, like the amount of people who aren't on social media. So, or they use fake names. So, yeah. Just looking here. Rochelle says we also had Yowie activity at our place and seen the Black Panther twice in next door's paddock. Man, that Black Panther is 100% out there. I don't care what anyone says. I will die on this mountain. The Black Panther is out there in Australia and it is living its best life, because I tell you what, if reincarnation is real, I'm coming back as a Black Panther in Australia. Those things will be living their best life out there. What's this one? I tried to film a plane go over and the camera did catch it. So it's clear we won't be catching something out of the ordinary. Yeah, absolutely. This is the biggest pet peeve I have is people go, oh, well, why didn't you pull out your bloody phone and capture this thing on your camera? Because one, phone cameras are generally pretty shit. And two, it's extreme. Like, go outside right now and take a picture of the damn moon. It's going to look like trash 90% of the time. So if you have seen planes or, lights in the sky, you ain't got no luck. I can tell you, I was out with Attila with tens of thousands of dollars of camera gear. I bought my best cameras. He bought his best cameras, and we were seeing lights in the sky, and we struggled to even get anything on camera. It's just the bloody thing. It's just difficult. It's just difficult. And Attila and I are very skilled camera operators. You'd be hard pressed to find anyone who knows how to use a camera better than him and I. and we had an absolute fleet of cameras with us, and it was so difficult to capture anything. And if anyone is going to capture something on camera, you'd think it'd be us with all the maybe it's all the gear and no idea. Who knows? Who knows? But yeah, as Rod Rupert says, the human eyes can't be beat. No, they can't. Absolutely not. And I tell you what, the way the human eye works and the way it picks up information, like especially in your peripherals, is mind blowing, because there's a good chance that you see 90% of these things in your peripherals, and you see it better in your peripherals before than in your actual center line of sight. I reckon Yowies walk panthers as pets. Imagine that. Maybe it's a thylacine. That would be cool. Live in a very active place of cryptid and paranormal activity. Kate, I can send you my old footage if you want. Of course, send it through. Definitely send it through. I take photos through the telescope. That is the best way to do it there, Maggie. Oh, we have a call. Caller, what's your name and where you from? Oh, very good, Shane. You've called in at the 11th hour, mate. How are you? Oh, yeah. 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 Yeah, I'm not too sure what's going on there, but you're definitely coming through on everything here. It's I can see you and I can hear. Oh, well, I can't see you, but obviously I can. Sounds like you're having a no pants party there, mate. But oh, for the people who can't hear us, they probably think, "What the hell are these gentlemen talking about at the moment?" Mate, I've got about 1 minute left, and then I'm looking to wrap it up. But I don't know. It seems like the people still can't hear you. So, mate, It's probably, yeah, absolutely, next time indeed. So yeah, look, it's okay. They heard you about a little bit, but that's about it. It seems like there's a bit of a ghost in the machine at the moment, so looks like I might have to look at sorting some things out on my end. But mate, thank you so much for calling in. I'm a massive camera nerd, and I can talk the ears off people when it comes to that. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I did. No, it looks like it's all okay, but it's just, yeah, there seems to be some funny buggers that are kind of going on between the mixing equipment I've got here tonight and going to the live broadcast. But I guess that's all good. Yeah, absolutely, mate. Absolutely. Too easy, mate. Talk to you soon. Catch ya. All right. Sorry, guys. I don't know what happened there with the audio, but we've got a couple of seconds left on the live stream. That's going to do it for the calls. Obviously, if they're not working, it's not really worth pushing them out there. But I do see a rather interesting conversation over here in the chat about AYR. Did AYR break up? No, AYR did not break up. It just had a couple of people leave. So I think 3 members left the crew. That was Shannon, Gary, and Sarah. And they're all kind of just doing their own thing. There's still a large chunk of AYR going out there and doing their investigations and doing it rather regularly. So as to why they broke up, I don't really think it's my place to say at all. But maybe the best way to put it would be just creative differences, maybe. But yeah, the thing is, AYR has been around for a long time, and they're going to be around for a long time moving forward. And I guess you got to really look at the silver lining when it comes to situations like this. Is that that when people leave, it gives you an opportunity to invite new people in and potentially obtain new skill sets and things like that. So it's it is unfortunate, obviously, because obviously good mates with everyone there, and still am. And it's great that people get an opportunity to spread their wings and kind of do things a little bit more their own way or whatever. So while it may look all terrible and stuff, it's definitely not. It's an opportunity where people can spread their wings and start to develop their own styles. And who knows, it just may lead to more information, more discoveries, more outcomes, which I'm all for. And people are saying Sarah's a great interviewer. Yeah, she's the second best one I know. But yeah, No, Sarah is great. So yeah, definitely check out her podcast if you haven't, and go check out what Gary Lynn's doing at the moment. You know, because he's a Kate, who's first? Me. I'm number one, of course. And someone says, I know Gary has a more esoteric view of things. Oh man, absolutely. Gary is like super open-minded, next level open-minded, and I love that about him. He's also like the world's most handsome man, so he's got that going for him. So you know, he's doing his thing at the moment. So what is it called? It is called Paranormal. So go check that out on YouTube. I think he's doing YouTube. He's definitely got a Facebook page. I know that. But guys, look, that's going to do it for tonight. It has been an absolute pleasure hanging out with each and every one of you. Thank you to Shane for calling in. Unfortunately, there wasn't any audio coming through there, but what I might do is see if I can put this back up with his part on it. Otherwise, it's going to go straight to your Believe Plus members on Sunday. So check that out. And just a real quick tidbit before we kind of wrap up tonight is that season 20 will be coming out in a couple of weeks. I'm actually just looking at the calendar tomorrow to kind of work that out to see when that one's going to drop. And also, Believe Plus members, I am working on an additional podcast for you called Mysteries Down Under, which is just a bunch of really cool things that have happened in Australia. May not all be paranormal related or cryptid related, but you know, just things that I find rather cool. So that's going to come out, and you're going to hear a new voice on that one. So that's going to be fun, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. Actually, I might try to get one of those episodes out in the next week or two, because one of them's being recorded about the bunyip. So and also the Tully Saucer Nest. So I've got two up my sleeve. So I'll look at releasing those very, very shortly for Bleed Plus members, and love to get your thoughts on them. But guys, that's going to do it for tonight. My name's been Cade. You've been listening to the Believe Paranormal and UFO podcast, the Night Shift edition. And this was episode number 62, Open Lines. Catch you later.